So hey, welcome back to the 10-10 movement, and you're here as always with myself, Tony V, where in this video we're specifically talking about question 6 in the 10-10 life test. Now, if you haven't taken the life test already, get yourself over to www.10-10.life, okay, where you can actually take the test. Now, the 6th question is all about your social life. So let's just ask you quickly now, as you think of your social life on a scale of 0 to 10, 10 is it's absolutely amazing right now, and 0 is it's absolutely terrible right now. What number jumps out at you right now? Now, if you're a 10, to be honest, you can switch me off right now, as I always say, but if you're not a 10, you know, 9's obviously a great score, 8's a great score too. But if you're like 7 or less, then listen up, because this video could potentially really help you get your score towards a 10 out of 10 in your social life. So if you're scoring 7 or less, then to be honest, we've got a bit of a gap here. And it's what's in that gap. If we can discover what's in that gap that's giving us this lower score, then Bob's your uncle, you're on your way towards an 8, 9 or preferably a 10 out of 10 social life. So the reason this is tough to take, so, you know, strap down now, because I'm going to tell you something that's a bit tough to take. The reason that you've got the score you've got is because, wait for it, you created it. Now, whoa, I know, you might want to turn me off now, going, well, I don't want this to be my fault. You mean my social life being, you know, pretty low score is my fault? You know, what about all these people? Well, look, the truth is that if we want to live, as I call it, in a more green way, then firstly we have to understand, it's a great green word, and we have to take responsibility for the experiences we're having, okay? Because the outside world is not going to change this for you. So you have to take some action, and the best place to start taking action is to become aware of yourself as to what's going on that's giving me this social life that's not really, you know, I'm not firing on all cylinders, I'm not looking good right now. So what could you be doing, or what might you have done? Now, look, for the first part, you don't have to blame yourself. The blame game, that's very low energy, that's red energy. So we're not looking to blame ourselves, we're looking to become aware, more conscious, and just accept that we have at some level created this, albeit completely without realizing we're doing it. In other words, unconsciously. So if your social life is not great, the first thing I would ask you is that when you were little and you think about life between when you were born, which I appreciate you don't remember, but when you do remember, to about 7, think about what were you immersed in? In other words, where did you live? What was your house like when you were little? Because if your social life, or the social life of the people that lived around you, was also quite low, now if they're still alive and kicking, obviously my parents you know, have passed on to greater things, as I often say, but as I think back, you know, the energy in my house was not, to be honest, a very sociable place. You know, my dad, he had 2 jobs, he worked very hard, and I just remember that, you know, when he came home, he'd often just go to sleep, yeah? And my mum used to go, whoa, we just got to keep quiet because your dad needs his sleep, yeah? And like the chance of any child, any of my friends from school coming to our house was a big fat 0. So that was the way we lived our life. So I became socially a bit not so good. It wasn't a great sort of upbringing. Now, obviously some of my friends were completely the opposite. So just think about that time for you. You know, was your family very, what I would call, gregarious? Did we mix with a lot of people, have a lot of friends and stuff like that? Or was it a little bit more like mine was, where we're a little bit more withdrawn as a family for, you know, a reasonable reason? You know, we were not well off and everybody was working really hard to, you know, make ends meet and stuff like that. But look, here's the point. Here's the big point, if you haven't already got something from that, is, and this is a saying that's out there in the big wide world, the people you spend time with is who you become. Yeah, I believe it's Mr. Robbins, Tony Robbins himself that said that, but maybe he got it from someone else. I don't actually know. I know I've heard him say that. So look, the people you spend time is who you become. So look, what do we say? We can choose our friends, but we can't choose our family, something like that. So look, we weren't able to choose this environment that we lived in. But unconsciously, could it be that we took on whatever energy or whatever experience was? And if that energy was a little bit less social, then somehow we grew up being less social. So here's the trick. Think about your life right now. So we've gone back to childhood. Now let's think about now. Think about it. Is it possible that you are running any of your childhood patterns right now? Okay, so remember, if our score's a bit low on the social life and we look back and our social life as a child was not great, but if you could identify any patterns that went on in that experience for you, ask yourself, am I still running any of those patterns today? And could it be, if the answer to that question is yes, there layeth part of the answer. So, how do we change things? How do we turn things around? Because this is unconscious programming that maybe we've just woken up to, become aware of, become conscious of, yeah? So we've gone from unconscious to conscious, that the potential of why our social life's not great is that we learnt that behaviour when we were, you know, certainly very small, 0 to 7, but even when we go to school, you know, whatever goes on in your house, you tended to run that pattern at school, and then of course into our teens, what was that like? So all of this is like social conditioning, and it's led you to live the life that you're living right now. So if you want to change that, in other words, your score's a bit low and we want to move towards a more 10 out of 10 social life, what can you do? Well, firstly, becoming aware of your old patterns and then thinking about, so what new patterns do I need to, you know, put inside my body right now to attempt to overwrite those old unconscious patterns so that I get the social life that's moving up the scale here. Now, it's always said that overwriting an unconscious pattern with a conscious pattern is actually, you know, not easy to do. But look, it doesn't mean that we don't give it a go. So there's quite a lot of things that we can do, but firstly, I believe one of the best things, if I'm going to give you one thing right now that you can do, is to look at the people you spend time with currently. Yeah? So ask yourself, are the people that I hang out with, if I had to score their energy on a scale of 0 to 10, you know, just look at them. Are they like have they got a positive outlook? Are they more extrovert or are they more introvert? Are they very social or are they not very social? So if your peer group, your current peer group, is supporting your old pattern, then the obvious thing to do is to consider getting a new peer group. And honestly, I can tell you that was the number one thing. It was like my first step in moving towards a more 10 out of 10 social life, was to find a new bunch of people to hang out with. Now, firstly, I had to, you know, do the whole accepting that I was doing this to myself, and actually I am in choice here. I am in choice whether I continue to hang out with the peer group that I've got, or am I going to be brave, courageous, turn on my courage dial, I always say, switch my courage on and turn the dial up to like 8, 9 or 10 and do something I've never done before. So, you know, it's very Star Trek like. We've got to go where, you know, we've never been before. So yeah, what I did was I found some group of people who were living a life that I wanted to live. Now, at first felt a bit weird, but actually their energy was quite infectious and I fitted in actually much quicker than I thought I would. Yeah, so I took my old beliefs, my old energy into that group, but they were very inspiring, empowering. They did things that I'd never done before. So I encourage you to hunt out a new peer group. Now, The 10-10 movement could just be that peer group for you, because as it gets momentum, of course, and it grows and grows and grows, we're going to be doing more things. We're going to start to move to meet these people. Now look, if we're in a group of people that are all moving towards living a 10 out of 10, they're going to have a lot of commonality about them. They're going to be working on themselves. They're going to be doing personal, spiritual development type stuff, which we're right into. And we're going to be looking at what can we do to turn the dial up on our life, turn our score up, get a better experience. So right here in the 10-10 movement, get involved in the Facebook page, ask questions. There's the YouTube channel, of course. Get on there, watch the videos as they grow and grow and grow. Watch them, ask questions below. Obviously, you can take the life test more than once, see how you're progressing. Are you going up the scale? We've got other things coming up, obviously as the movement unravels, there's lots more things that we are going to do. But look, there are other groups out there that you could get involved with. So think about it. It's all about first step, stage 1, awareness of yourself. Stage 2, accepting that you are part of you created this, albeit maybe unconsciously. And step 3 is to take some action to move towards some new people that are living the life that you'd like to live, and then step in with them and start to go, right, okay, what needs to happen for me to feel better every day, for me to feel that I've got this social environment around me. Now, of course, we've got the internet as well. So, are these people online? I'm not the greatest fan. Look, I'm not the young generation of only having, your phone in your pocket. All your friends are on your phone, because, there's layers of socialness, yeah? So obviously we've got social media. It's like these friends are in the media, not necessarily like live. So I'd encourage a bit of mix and match. The more you physically meet these people, technically speaking, the better the interaction. Interacting through a gadget will be worth less in terms of your personal growth than interacting personally. It's a different experience, yeah? And I always say, look, human to human contact is always going to be better than any other form of contact that you can have. And I appreciate social media has grown, and people, especially young people, are building their lives around a gadget rather than interacting with people. So, let's remember that humans are gregarious. Okay, now being gregarious on a gadget is all well and good, but being natural, being nature, come back to nature. Nature is that we share, we talk, we group, we do all those sorts of things. Hence we call this a movement, yeah? It's a group of people gathering together to make a difference in their own lives, but obviously generally to make a difference to, planet Earth as well. So that's it on social. It's like step 1, just move towards, take some action, find yourself a new peer group. And if you haven't already and you're watching this on YouTube, please do hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. If you're watching it on Facebook, of course, then make sure that you've liked or followed the page so that you get all the, you stay in connection. It's a good place to start a new social interaction. So that's it from me, Tony V. I'll see you on the next video. Bye for now.